Hi everybody and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 31st of May 2019. I'm using the Radiant Rider-Waite deck for this reading. Let's have a look at what the cards want you to be aware of today. And this is the deck that I would recommend to all beginners. So if you're taking my course or if you are starting to learn the tarot by yourself, this is a colorful take on the original Rider-Waite deck, and they've just updated the images and made them a little bit more luminous and radiant. So let's have a look at what the cards want you to know. You can see that they are exactly the same as the originals. They're just brighter and they've made the borders clearer. So we have the Ace of Cups, which is a blessing from the universe. We have this dove coming down from above, and it creates this cross, this intersection between spiritual energy coming down and being met by your emotional, watery, spiritual, intuitive being. That state of receptivity. You know, people like Doreen Virtue used to talk about the clairs a lot. Clairvoyance, which is seeing images. Clairsentience, feeling things. Clairaudience, which is hearing your messages. Clairsmelliance, I don't know what it's called, but you smell pepper or you smell lavender or something, whatever. And even taste, okay? It really, I always have found that a little bit silly because the universe gives you messages in whatever way you're most open at that time. So you're not just clairvoyant, you're not just clairsentient, you're a clair being, okay? You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And when the universe wants to share something with you, it's going to use the path of least resistance. It's going to show you the message that it wants you to receive in the way that's most easy to access that day, okay? So if that day you've had a lot of visual stimulation and you've been looking at symbols and stuff, then the message will come through clairvoyance and you'll see an image in your mind's eye that's like, ta-da. Or if you've really been, listening and you've been studying and you've been listening to audiobooks or whatever your experience is, that's how the universe doesn't just think you're some random. It knows you and it knows how it can connect with you. The Ace of Cups is a gift from the universe, and it's this spiritual information coming down, and it meets you halfway, first of all, and gives you information. And it gives you information that is really going to help you work-wise, but it's giving you information that makes you feel like your cup is running over, like you're abundant, like you're prosperous, like you're happy. Water is love and romance and joy and creativity and spirituality and imagination and taking care of other people and feeling connected to the world, to yourself, to everything. The Ace of Cups is really the biggest blessing because it just makes you feel like you're just so full of positivity that it just runs over and it is never ending. So the universe reaches out to you today by giving you some information. It's going to most likely give you some information that relates to becoming this woman. A woman who is elegant, who is loving, who's disciplined. You can see that falcon there, and she's got the falconer's glove on. Always reminds me of Jessica Lange because she always talks about falconry. I love her as an actress. But training a falcon is a really difficult thing. First of all, it's a wild predator animal, and it chases things like mice and stuff, I think. I'm not so good with, you guys know me, I'm not so good with the terminology, but it's to get it, to chase it out and to order it to do things and then get it to come back. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue where to start, okay? And you can imagine that it's quite a difficult thing. They put a hood on these animals And I think they do that with birds as well in cages. Like when they go to sleep, they put like a blanket over them. I have no experience with birds whatsoever. I grew up with dogs. So this is a woman who's super, super disciplined. The point is that she's delved into something very, very specific and that she's an expert because she's trained this falcon. Okay. And that's how she's become rich and wealthy and abundant, because she's made herself a specialist in something. She's acquired special knowledge. So it's the difference between having no special knowledge and working as a cashier at a supermarket, which doesn't require a lot of special knowledge. It just requires you to be able to greet customers and to work the till. But if you are a neurophysicist, if that exists, let's say a neuroscientist, a brain surgeon, then you have very, very unique, specific skills that very few people have, and you're going to be really valuable to the hospital that you work in, because you're the only person in the state or in the part of the country who is a neuroscientist and who feels trained and is very good at working with people's brains, right? So that progress is slow. Look at the tiny, cute little snail. It takes work to get to this position. It doesn't just happen overnight. And once you are there, you'll have had to learn specific, very detailed information like falconry, like the anatomy of the human body, of the human mind. You'll have had to have physical, practical training in that. And the reason she's abundant and elegant and beautiful and rich isn't because she does a job for the money. She received this gift from the universe, and she's receiving it today, which meets her in that place within herself that is full of love, and that is, this is how I can share my love with the world. Because we all have a part of ourselves that's truthful and that's authentic and that's loving and that's good. And when we use that good part of ourselves, and when we grow it and we shape it and mold it into something that we can use in the world, in society, then we go and do that, and society recognizes that good that you're creating. And the grapes and the pentacles, both of which represent abundance, they start to grow around you because you are someone who adds so much value to the world. And that's why you don't have to be a factory worker making pentacles exactly the same, one after the other, on a conveyor belt, working 16 hours a day, doing the same thing over and over and over again, because you have more than one skill as a brain surgeon, okay? This guy is a craftsman. He has the ability to, let's say they're made out of wood. He's got the ability to cut these out of the tree trunks, and then to use this chisel and to hammer in pentacles. And that's the skill that he has. Again, society doesn't value that very much, so he has to make a lot of these pentacles because they don't sell very well. Or they do sell very well, but at a cheap price. I think you know what I'm getting at. That he has to kind of work very, very hard and conveyor belt make these things all the time because there's a demand for it, but they go at $5 a piece, let's say. And he works for the company. He's one of many, many people who do the same thing, and he gets paid a couple of dollars an hour. And he has to work really, really hard doing the same thing again because he has that one skill. This woman has many, many skills, and she hasn't gone out and said, how can I be the most skilled person in the world, and how can I make a lot of money and really be very disciplined and wonderful and rich and elegant and other people envy me. That's not the motivation. And when that motivation is there, you're very likely to fall on your face. Because whatever you kind of grasp and squeeze the life out of, that's when you tend to make it run away from you and it eludes you. But when you look within and when you're given a gift like you are today, and just see if you hear a message very clearly. For instance, take your psychic mediumship skills and start a seminar. Could be the sentence you hear during your meditation and that's it, you follow up on it. Or you get an image or a smell or just a feeling that I should be standing up on stage, talking to people, and you just get a vision of yourself doing that, but you don't know exactly what that is. So you continue to meditate, you research, you take that on board, and you say, wow, this is how I can express my love for other people. Because, in films and things, we've always got the good guys and the bad guys, right? But the bad guys really don't... The bad guys are always selling weapons. Or they're always super rich because they make something in the world that's detrimental to the environment. But in the real world, yes, okay, they do sell weapons, but in the real world, when you create negative stuff and when you make the world a more difficult place, people don't usually reward you for that. Real villains in life don't, well, I might be naive, but I really don't see real, people who are constantly harming other people and making their lives more difficult. I don't see those as successful. I see people who build hotels and who are brain surgeons and tree surgeons and people like that who really do something good for other people and for the planet. Those are the people that society rewards. So it's about taking the good part of yourself and that loving part of yourself and making yourself the best that you can be, specializing and training in that. And today, the universe is offering you a gift free of charge. It's handing that information to you, how you can become this woman, how you can really mold the most expert part of you and make that a real thing. Because I believe that each one of us comes to planet Earth with a talent that we can use to survive and to be financially independent. And that will free you from a daily grind of a job that you do just for the cash. So really make sure you listen to your higher self today, because it's going to give you the answer to have financial freedom, financial independence, and to liberate yourself financially. The ace is 1, then 9 is 10, and 8 is 18. 1 and 8 is 9, and 9 is spirituality and completion. So you may think that spirituality and money are totally, they're mutually exclusive. They aren't. Today, spirituality and listening to the spiritual message that you get will help you complete your mission when it comes to your work, and will help you find your vocational aptitudes or your dream career that you've always meant to pursue. And even if you've invested 10 years in the wrong career, don't invest another 10 years. Stop now and hit Control-Alt-Delete and put a line under it and say, this is my true mission. And just because I've invested in something for a number of years doesn't mean that I have to keep investing in it, even though I no longer care. I can do something else and it's okay, because this thing that I am meant to do is going to make me feel much more complete and fulfilled, and it's something that takes time and it's good, and practice makes perfect, and it will add something to the world. So I hope you have a lovely day. If you would like a personal reading with me, I use the tarot and astrology and numerology in my readings. The astrology chart I draw up by using your place of birth and date of birth and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please. I can work out your time of birth. You give me 10 life events, 10 facts or more, and I can work out the exact time you were born on that day. Once I have your chart drawn up, it's a blueprint of who you are. It's a blueprint of your soul. It shows me what your ideal work is. It shows me what your life mission is, your life purpose. and whether that's connected to your work or whether it's something separate. So whether you have working talents and skills that help you achieve your life mission, which is usually the case, but sometimes the two are separate, and I can see that in the birth charts. I can also see what's destined for you when it comes to health and love and career and money and personal development and travel and moving. Where the best place is to live, I look at the astrocartography for that. It's really, I reverse the charts, and instead of looking up at the sky, I position myself in the sky and I look at how the planets were moving over different parts of planet Earth and how different countries affect you emotionally, spiritually. And I can also see, what's kind of written on your forehead, but where you have a choice and where you have the ability to change your destiny, because that's the great thing about astrology. It sits between the tarot and these divination system. It sits between what is written and destined for you and your personal choice and your ability to create. And it's in the middle of that. So you can work with what already is, and you can choose to go in a certain direction to maximize your potential. So if you're interested in that, then please get in touch with me for a personal reading. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.